Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the secret history living inside of your aquarium, my aquarium, all of our aquariums. So, what are we looking at here? This is Pogostemon Stellatus broadleaf. Now, in the wild, it lives in quite a few places. This particular plant comes from Australia. Now what you're looking at is you're actually looking at a bloom. These are little buds blooming, and in the opening photo you probably saw that this conical this builds, and you can see that there was a lower bloom there and then leaves came out, but it will bloom, and then the bloom will grow conically up out of the center with these purplish pink flowers coming out of the sides. Now underwater that doesn't happen quite as much because the stamen and the pistil of the plants don't need to be covered in pollen as they do when they are out of the water. So when a plant is growing underwater, we call that submerged. Now, when a plant is growing above water, it is called immersed. If its legs are if its lower part is underwater and its the top half is above water, or some part of it is cresting the water. So, what does that mean for flowering? Well, it means that flowering is a lot harder underwater because the light has to make it through all of this water, which has little particles and junk floating in it, and it has to make it down to the plants. And I don't remember the statistic, it doesn't matter, but every, say, foot, you lose 20% of the light, or something along those lines, or it's actually more than that, I believe. But every time you go down, you're losing par, and that's one of the ways that we evaluate how much light has gotten to a plant. So I just wanted to show you, I got this from Aquatic Arts, and I got it a while back. Now, the really interesting thing about this pretty little plant, other than the algae on it, which I need to I guess I need to pay my Siamese algae eaters more, or just pick it off by hand. But basically, this plant is probably 16 inches tall. It's in my big, tall 40-gallon custom tank, Beaufort. And I have put it in this tank, but I've also put it in another tank, two other tanks to be precise. And has it actually flowered in those tanks, even where it has come out? No. No, it hasn't. It has remained as it is. It has converted to its underwater leaf foliage. You can see here that basically its above water leaves are kind of serrated, if you see the little jagged edges, and it's kind of got like a crease down the center that's more pronounced. Whereas up here, all this new growth is not so much serrated, and it's smoother, and it curls up around itself a little bit more. It's more wavy, I guess. And this is a broadleaf form, whereas there are skinny leaves. So right next to this plant is Pogostemon Stellatus octopus, and you can see how crazy and leafy this one gets. And then down here, floating upside down because of a kerfuffle we had in the tank yesterday, cleaning things and moving things around, we have another one, which is Pogostemon Stellatus erectus. There is another Pogostemon Stellatus erectus back farther in there, and you can see it has those fine leaves. So you're getting the different leaves on this one, and it will continue to become finer and finer leafed, but that's the ginormous difference in the types. Now, all of these plants are found all over Asia, so India, subcontinent, Asia, and all throughout Micronesia and the Malaysian Peninsula, Indonesia, Borneo, Australia, New Zealand, and Tasmania. So it's kind of an interesting, well-traveled plant. It likes tropical and subtropical waters, so anything from 68 to, oh, I don't know, 85 it'll tolerate. It doesn't like 85, by the way. But this tank is about 78 degrees, and it just has some killer light on it. And it's got 30 watts spotlights that shine straight down onto it, two of them, so that's 60 watts shining down on it. It's probably receiving about 30 watts of that, I would guess, and thus it has decided that it has enough light to flower. Plants flower when they're ready to reproduce and when they want to let their seed or their pollen get pollinated. Then they get mixed DNA from other plants by having the birds and the bees, if you will, rub onto them and then moving along. Well, underwater, they can either not worry about it and travel by breaking off in pieces and floating downstream and just grabbing a hold and putting roots down, or they can actually still pollinate at times by pollinating on the surface of the water and hoping that ducks and things grab onto the pollen while they're in the water, and they can also hope that the pollen drifts onto another plant like this, since they usually grow in pretty dense groupings. Now, I'm not sure on this one. I couldn't find out if it is the type where there is a male and female set of plants or anything, or whether both of them contain both DNA and it essentially fertilizes that way. And the reason it does so is just to keep the genetic diversity up. But nevertheless, this plant has been eaten in parts of India. It is an herb, if you will. And some people do dry it and use it for, I don't know what. It's a very mild plant. It's just been noted at culinary use, kind of like bay leaf in Bangladeshi, Indian, and Malaysian cooking. But I haven't eaten it. Don't plan on eating it, and the fish don't eat it. So I think that's a good enough sign. But it is pretty, and I just wanted to show you what a lot of light and some nitrates and nitrites from the fishies, all these fishies in the tank, what they can do to your plant. They can cause it to bloom. And so you can see here, a lot of plants are coming up. The Ludwigia is actually trying to bloom over there, that red star. And it's kind of cool to watch. So it's a real stocky plant, real sturdy, and it is a pretty hardy plant also, with interesting, almost orchid-like leaves that pop off as side buds until you get this cone of purple buds. And so we'll see how much energy it is able to draw in and how big of a bloom we will get on this, or if it will just kind of keel over and that'll be the end of the bud. So I just wanted to share that with you guys and let you know that these plants, if you have a 20 long or a tank that's pretty shallow, sometimes if you put a light above your tank, hanging like 2 or 3 feet above your tank, you could get some really beautiful flowers growing out of your tank, while also getting this kind of purple coloration coming out of the intersection of between the leaves and the stem. You can see that its stem is also this yellowish color with some purple on it, and then the bright green. But it's got purple at each joint, and so it's already a pretty plant on its own, despite the flowering making it even more beautiful. So I hope that this was interesting to you guys. If you like these videos on certain plants and things like that, let me know. Wow, that is way out of focus, and I need to scrape the heck out of the algae in here, but the plants are so happy, and I've got 3 different species kind of flowering, so I just didn't want to mess with anything. But I'm going to be cutting that back. Maybe next we'll talk about some Bacopa or some Rotala, show you guys high-tech versus low-tech, what they look like. In the high-tech, this is actually much more purple. It can actually turn like a red, a dark red, and purple and orange and peach color at the top, and look kind of cool. You can usually tell the Pogostemon Stellatus by the 4-petal configuration, and if you look closely, it's usually got 4 petals coming out of each joint, and that's true for this octopus too, Stellatus octopus, and then down here for the upside down plant as well. So that's a little trick. It's not foolproof. There's plenty of plants with 4 petals, but it will help you narrow it down if you're trying to figure out what was that plant again. Because you can see the saffron bacopa down here has 4 also. But 4 petals, all in a line. They don't alternate or twist or anything like that. They're all on the same line of sight or plane. Like they all go this way, and they're all in a line. If you're looking straight down, they're not too spread out compared to some other plants that twist and turn, like some of the Rotalas you can see there make a full circle and slowly twist as they go up. So if you guys like this, please hit the like button. That seems obvious. If you guys want to see more of this, learn more about these things, you can hit the subscribe little button and the bell. Ring that bell if you want to be alerted to every video. And other than that, if you want me to get a better camera so that we can keep all this in focus, you can support my videos through Patreon. That is my only source of real funding. So, I hope you all have a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves, the people around you, the fish you take care of, the plants you take care of, and they'll take care of you back. Alright, I'll talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye, guys.